Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Kev's Movie Corner. I am Kev, and this week we are talking about Sophie's Choice. This movie was released in 1982. It stars Meryl Streep, Kline, and Peter MacNicol. A brief synopsis from IMDb is: Sophie is the survivor of Nazi concentration camps who has found a reason to live with Nathan, a sparkling, if unsteady American Jew obsessed with the Holocaust. Yes. I mean, technically, yeah, I guess that's correct. It leaves out the other main character, played by Peter MacNicol, which is Stingo, who is actually the narrator of this whole story. But so this movie starts off. It's based in the 40s, so it's based just a couple years after the end of World War II and the Holocaust. Meryl Streep plays a Polish woman who is now living in the U.S. Stingo, played by Peter MacNicol, is a young writer who is moving to Brooklyn to write a novel. He's moved out of his parents' house. He's moving to Brooklyn. He moves into a home. It's a house in Brooklyn that has a bunch of people living in it. The upstairs neighbors are Sophie and Nathan, who he befriends. The first time he meets them, Nathan is having he's basically in a fit of jealous rage, and he basically beats Sophie, and then walks out, and kind of verbally assaults Stingo on the way. Sophie says that he's not like that. That's not normally how he is, and then goes on her way. Nathan comes back, makes friends with Stingo. They all make friends, and they basically become inseparable, and start doing everything together. Stingo learns that, Sophie and Nathan got together because he found her at school when she was still new. She had just immigrated to the U.S. and collapsed of anemia. Nathan says that he works at Pfizer. His brother is a doctor. He claims to be a researcher at Pfizer, and that he's working on research to, make people better, and that he's, graduated from Harvard and all this kind of stuff. Extremely intelligent. And slowly, but every once in a while he has these fits of jealous rage where he kind of goes off on everybody that's around. Stingo eventually learns that Sophie was taken to Auschwitz when her husband and father, who both worked at a university, were killed in a German work camp. He also eventually learns that her father was a Nazi sympathizer. even though she had lied about that to him. Um, and you slowly, as this goes on, you slowly learn more about her story. And she even makes the comment that it's hard to understand. Her and Stingo have this relationship where he says that he wants to understand, and she talks about how she's lied a lot, and it's hard. Just because she tells the truth, that doesn't mean you're going to understand what happened. She eventually tells him what happened at Auschwitz, that she was taken there, that her father was a Nazi sympathizer, that she was or that she had a lover, because her husband was also worked with her father, who was a Nazi sympathizer. She had a lover in Poland, and she was living with her lover's half sister, who was leading the resistance to the Nazis, who had tried to get her to help translate some documents, which, because she's knows a lot of languages, because her father was a linguist, I believe, a language professor. She ended up being arrested. She said no because she thought that her kids might be involved or get in trouble. She ends up being arrested anyway and sent to Auschwitz. When she's there, her kids are taken from her, but she is eventually made a secretary to one of the commanders at the camp, to try to, because of her secretary skills and her language skills. And as they're learning this, as Stingo's learning this, he also learns from Nathan's brother something that Sophie doesn't know about Nathan, even though they've been together for a while, is that Nathan is a paranoid schizophrenic and is doing cocaine and other drugs that have caused him in the past to have manic episodes. And his brother is trying to prevent this from happening, is asking Stingo to watch him and try to keep him from doing this. After this happens, when Stingo learns about this and goes back, Nathan has one of these incidents. He calls Sophie and Stingo on the phone, basically threatens to kill them, and fires a gun over the phone while he's talking to them. Stingo and Sophie leave New York and start heading to Stingo's family farm that his father inherited. He believes that he tells Sophie that he's in love with her. They get to a hotel in D.C. on their way to Virginia. He tells Sophie that he's in love with her. He wants to marry her, and he wants to be with her forever. You know, he's trying to protect her from Nathan, but he also wants to be with her. At this point, you know, he wants to have children with her and everything else. She's a little older than him in this movie too. She tells him that he's, you know, young and doesn't really know what he wants. And then she also tells him that he shouldn't, you know, he shouldn't want her to be the mother of his kids because she's not that great. And this is when she tells him I'm guessing this is the choice. This is when she tells him the story of what happened. She says she's never told anybody. Is that when she was first taken to Auschwitz, she tries to tell the Nazis at the camp that she is a sympathizer to try to get released. And what they do is they basically say, okay, well then, since you're a Polish Christian, you get a choice of which child you can have survive. And she goes on for a couple minutes of saying that she can't choose, and eventually lets them take her daughter to the gas chamber and tells them to spare her son so that he can carry on their family name, which is a terrible thing to have to do. But after that, Sophie and Stingo have sex, and while he is asleep, she writes a note and leaves to go back to Nathan, saying that, Stingo will find somebody else, that he's a great person, he'll find somebody else. And Stingo later learns that they have both taken cyanide and died. And he goes back to the home where he sees them. He finds Nathan's brother there, and he finds both of them in bed together after having taken cyanide. And he recites a poem from Sophie's favorite poet, Emily Dickinson, before the movie ends, which is basically where it ends. And then he goes back to Virginia and writes his novel, and that's where it ends. It's a very sad movie. It's a very long movie, but it's a very sad movie. This movie is 2.5 hours long. There is a lot of talking. There is a lot of slow pacing in this movie. Obviously, it's a drama. So, it's not like high pace or anything like that. It got mixed reviews when it came out. It had some really glowing reviews. It had some kind of, this is shite reviews as well. It was nominated for 5 Academy Awards. Meryl Streep won hers for Best Actress. That's the only of the 5 that it won. I was surprised. It only grossed $30 million at the box office, which 1982, that's, I don't know, that doesn't seem like a lot to me. It only cost $9 million to make, so I guess it made a little over 3 times what it cost, but that doesn't seem like a lot to me. But yeah, it's a very sad movie. If you have to be in the right frame of mind to watch this. I will say that. If you're not one to like sad dramas, don't watch this. If you like a drama film, if you like being sad, then emotional movies, then this might be something for you. But it is a sad movie. There wasn't anything super interesting that I found in the trivia for this one that IMDb had. Apparently Meryl Streep begged the director for this role after getting a bootlegged copy of the script, which is interesting. But other than that, there wasn't anything too crazy that was in this section of that page. It did say that she also never watched. She only did that final scene once, where she's talking about choosing which child to give up. she only did it once because it was too painful and emotionally draining, is what she said. But so it's a rough movie to watch for sure. But again, it's a rough topic in general, so I can only imagine what somebody like that would have to go through. So I think that is it for this week, folks. Next week, we're watching The French Connection from 1971. So I hope you guys will join me for that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and I will talk to you guys next week.